Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and a few other miscellaneous odds and ends. Today we're going to continue talking about what we were talking about yesterday, and that's the New Year's resolutions and the carnivore diet. I'm just kind of looking around because my water filter was supposedly delivered by Amazon, yet there is no package anywhere to be seen. And you know, that's a $50 water filter, just the cartridge replacement. But for those of you new to the channel today, and you're wondering, what in the world am I looking at? Why is this old retired truck driver talking to me about health and nutrition? Well, as I've stated in many of my previous videos, here comes another car already. Just a little less than 8 months ago, I could barely stand for more than 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain. And now I'm out here walking. And the whole purpose of this channel is that you can see, give you guys a little, that's a little better, we'll see how it goes. Maybe not quite that far. There we go. So that you guys can see firsthand that it is possible to change your life in a relatively short time. And let's talk about that, because everybody, now that we're coming up on New Year's, everybody's going to make their resolutions, and they're going to be out there searching the web and the YouTubes, looking for people that promise them, you know, extreme weight loss hack, melt the fat away. There's 1,000 different ways to say it. And I'm semi-guilty of titling this video to try and get some clicks. But the message I have for you is not a quick fix. As in, you know, there's no magic pill. You just have to eat a proper human diet. And your body will fix itself, in most cases. Oh, by the way, as you can see, the sun is out. It's very bright. It's not super warm out yet. It's only about 52, 53 degrees, but it is above 50. It's supposed to get into the 60s tomorrow and pretty much every day moving forward. I was going to try to go out to the park today and get a little trail hike in, but today's not going to be a super long walk, because I didn't realize how quickly I'd gotten out of shape. I did quite a bit of walking yesterday, and my legs were a little sore this morning. I am done a lot of stretching, which of course I don't really record because nobody wants to see that. I did that one little stretching video just to show you the basics, but I'm not gonna subject you to a 30-minute video of just Bob stretching. Nah. But I've done some stretching and light exercises, and things are pretty much loosened up, but I don't want to overdo it today, because I ended up being on my feet a lot yesterday. Even after the walk, I had actually just finished up cooking my meal and eating that yesterday. when I got a knock on the trailer, and it was Pastor. I'll show you where it was leaking when we get around there. But he says, "Do you have any tools?" I'm like, "Sure, what do we need?" He said, "Well, I can't get this water valve to turn off. Because, you know, it's been cold here and the water's frozen up. And as it got warmer and thawed out yesterday, the main line coming off the water meter by the street had burst. So I got some tools out of the truck, went out, and we got that shut off. And luckily, a plumber actually answered the phone at 6 o'clock in the evening. And we got somebody out here, and it's already fixed. But, of course, Pastor, doing his usual thing, gets up at early in the morning, usually the first one out here and the last one to leave. So he was a little on the anxious side to get home. So I stayed out here with the workmen. And then set a few of the sinks to trickle to keep it from happening again. It's not supposed to get cold enough to freeze moving forward, so we'll see what happens. But so anyway, that's an awful lot of rambling to tell you. I'm not going to have a very long video today. I should say there's not going to be a lot of walking. But yeah, when I get up here to the corner, I'll turn so you guys can see stuff. Luckily, it doesn't look like any of the water got into the building itself. But it's hard to see because of the sun. But there's that, looks like a green tote turned upside down over there. Underneath that is where the water pipe comes up off the meter, goes through some kind of regulator, and then back down underground to run into the building. And this whole low area here was completely full of water by the time I got out here and got that shut off. We'll see how squishy this feels. It's actually not too bad. So the water was right up to the corner of the building there, but didn't look like it got in because this whole building sits on a pretty good cement slab. But yeah, I was afraid, as cold as it'd been, it wouldn't soak in and we'd have a frozen lake here. But the ground is cold and hard, but it's only been that cold for 5-6 days, so the ground isn't actually frozen, so the water did soak in overnight. I would have probably noticed, because from here, you know, because I come out the building over there and go around to the trailer, but once it had flooded enough to start running across the parking lot, I probably would have noticed it, even if Pastor hadn't come driving by and seen the water spraying out from underneath that green tote. But luckily that's all fixed. And, you know, this is the section of North Carolina where they just, you know, 12 degrees at night will not freeze water lines in Omaha, Nebraska, because we're prepared and things are built for much better cold resistance. But here in this part of North Carolina, you don't really expect it to get that cold. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. There are no quick fixes. But the proper human diet, some of the things, of course, everybody knows, well, not everybody, but those of you that follow my channel know I've been doing Lion Diet, which is just beef, salt, and water. And that is the ultimate elimination diet. And as you can see, it's been roughly 7.5 months. It'll be 8 months on January the 6th. I'm down 125 pounds. As you saw in today's thumbnail, I have a great big stretch of belt that I don't need anymore. I've got on new clothes today, by the way. You saw them in the thumbnail. It's the pants are a size 40. I was hoping I'd gone ahead and ordered the 38s, but I didn't. These are 40. So if I don't put a belt on them, they are very loose and probably wouldn't stay up. And the shirt is a men's regular fit, large. I debated about getting an extra large still, because I'm just still in that mindset. It hasn't been that long. But I'm glad I went with the large, because it's got plenty of room in it. But yeah, you don't have to go as extreme as I am to get benefits. You have to decide what you're going to be able to stick to. Now, sticking to it does not include pizza, ice cream, and donuts. That's not what we're talking about. Carnivore diet is animal products, and animal products only. But you don't have to just eat ruminant meat. You can have, like we talked about yesterday with the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, obviously you can have pork. Now, you're going to want to try and stick to the fattier cuts, because the fat is where it's at least for me. I always recommend people start somewhere between 1:1 to 1.5:1 fat to protein. That means on a 1:1, half of your calories are coming from the fat and half of them are coming from the lean sections, the meat. And that's a good jumping off point, a good place to start. Because most people will do very well on that. And if you find you're not getting the results you want, my first suggestion is to up the fat. Because contrary to popular belief and the horrible research that's out there, eating fat does not make you fat. I think Bella, the steak and butter gal, she ate basically a stick of butter a day on top of what she was eating. She certainly doesn't look fat. So, I mean, the old turns out to just be a wives' tale that eating fat will make you fat. Now, as Professor K points out, eating too much of anything is contraindicated and can have side effects and bad effects. You know, if I'm doing my walking at 5'6.5", 5'7", 5'6", depending on which Army induction station or discharge station you want to listen to, because they had me at a different height every time. But at basically 5', 6.5", and 190 pounds, if I tried to eat as much as Dr. Sean Baker does, I probably wouldn't do so good. Because he's, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". He's a big guy. 260 pounds, 255 pounds, somewhere in there. And he does heavy lifting every day. If I tried to eat that much, I would probably not have good results. So you have to kind of play around with it. And that's why we always say eat until you're comfortably stuffed, is Dr. Berry's saying. And when you're first starting out, you want to eat till you're comfortably stuffed, and then maybe try and take a few more bites, because we've talked about this before. I might have even said this in yesterday's video. We've been so trained, it's been pounded into our systems since the time we were knee-high to our grasshopper, that don't eat that much, you'll get fat. Don't eat fat. Limit your portion size. Only eat a palm-sized piece of meat. They've talked about this until we believed it. Because they believed it at the time too. Actual science has shown that there's no actual science behind any of those claims. But it takes a long time to undo decades of bad information. But yeah, you don't have to just do beef, salt, and water like I do. That's how I got off on that sidetrack tangent about fat. You can have pork. If you have leaner cuts, you want to make sure you cook it up with some bacon grease or tallow, which is beef fat or some other kind of fat, or just put some butter on it when you're done, to make sure you're getting that 1:1 to 1.5 to 1 fat to protein ratio to get started with. You can have fish, you can have chicken, and yes, chicken means you can also have eggs. Eggs are an excellent source of nutrition. They're 1:1 fat to protein. And unlike what you were taught, if you're going to have 2 or 3 eggs, instead of throwing away the yolk, which is the good stuff, there's enough vitamins and minerals and nutrients and that kind of stuff in an egg yolk to make a whole chicken. But we were always taught, if you're going to have, 2 or 3 or 4 eggs, to throw 1 or 2 of the yolks away. I say no. If you're going to throw any of it away, throw away a couple of the whites. But eggs of any kind are an excellent source of nutrition. I'm told duck eggs and goose eggs and quail eggs are all very good. I don't have access to any of those within my budget, so I haven't actually tried any of those yet. Maybe someday. But fish is good. I know there's a lot of people that are worried about mercury poisoning in fish. As long as you're not loading up on fish every day, I don't think there's a huge problem with it. And you want to stick with the smaller fish. Those that don't eat lots of other fish, which will end up concentrating whatever chemicals they've gotten into. So, you probably don't want to have a swordfish steak every day. Some little animals running around down there in the woods today, which is kind of neat. But you can have all that stuff. And I guess the whole point of today's video is why are you so worried about a quick fix when you've probably, like me, been getting sicker and sicker for decades? So what is quick? What is a quick fix? Well, if I told you that following the carnivore diet would make you feel better in 6 months than you do today, would that convince you to give it a shot? I'm not asking you to commit to 6 months right now. January is World Carnivore Month. Just commit to it for the month of January and see how you feel. I would almost, now I don't give out any guarantees on this channel because individual results may vary, but I'd be willing to bet that 99% of you, after just 30 days on a carnivore diet, are going to see some kind of improvement, whether it's in your arthritis, or your skin conditions, or your diabetes, or your high blood pressure, any autoimmune condition, the markers of metabolic syndrome. The list goes on and on and on. Here comes a really loud truck. Again. So just give it a try for 30 days. See what happens. What have you got to lose besides the pain and misery that you're going through right now eating the standard American diet? That's abbreviated SAD diet, by the way. So yeah, World Carnivore Month. Give it a try. Jump on. I've got lots of videos on this channel offering helpful solutions. I talked about this yesterday. Carnivore Quest, another great informational spot. Ready Set Keto, if you want to see somebody else that's done it but not been quite as extreme as me, because they're eating keto rather than carnivore, go look at Ready Set Keto. Robin over Simple Food, Simple Life, she's looking fantastic. And I don't know exactly how old she is. I think she's 78. I'm pretty sure she's beyond 75, but I don't think she's quite 80 yet. And then for you younger people, besides Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Eric Westman, the list just goes on and on and on. Maybe you'll get something, you'll be able to relate a little more to somebody like Steak and Butter Gal because she's younger. But find a couple people to follow and just try it. Knowing that you didn't get to the state you're in overnight, expecting to, the funniest meme I've ever seen is, I think it was a Garfield the cat meme, but it was basically standing in front of the scale, looking at it, wondering how much longer it was going to take for the salad you had for lunch to kick in. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work that way. But anyway, I've rambled on for enough today. I did a couple, I don't remember if I did 2 or 3 laps, but I've walked enough. My legs are starting to get tired again. I'm going to do a bunch more stretching today because it's supposed to be 60. I don't know how far I'll get, but I'm definitely going out to the park tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so you'll see this one on Thursday. Then there'll be a live stream on Friday. So I'll be filming at the park for Saturday's video. Have a great day, guys. Get out there, be 1% better. I will see you tomorrow.